Alright guys, in today's video we're actually going to be talking about things you should know to help you get to know your Ae92 if you are already owning one or maybe looking to get one. Now, we're also going to be talking about some tips and tricks to help you along the way of owning your Ae92. So if you are just tuning in for the first time, be sure to subscribe. If you want to see some more cool Ae92 content just like this, let's get into the video. So, as many of you may know, this is a 1989 Toyota Corolla GTS. Now the GTS and SR5, we're going to go and dive into them. Now in this case, this is a GTS. GTSs come with side skirts. They come with this nice cool spoiler. They come with front and rear disc brakes. They come with a 1.6 liter 4A GE twin cam, whether it's a big port or the small port. They come with nice little kind of designer bucket seats. They come with a 5-speed transmission. They also come with a battery and oil pressure gauge and a lot of cool little small things like that. And also, if you have a GTS, like I said, from 1980 to 89, you're gonna have a big port 4A GE, and from 90 to maybe 91, if you have a 91, it's going to be a small port 4A GE. And the ways you could tell if it's a big port or small port is big port has a TVAS written right here on the intake manifold, and small ports don't. It's blank and it's ribbed. Also, speaking of GTS, they also have these strut bars, which is pretty cool. They came on all the GTSs. And then for the 90s GTS, they had a slightly different interior, and they also had bigger rotors, you know, for braking. So that was pretty cool. That was pretty cool, right? Now the good news when it comes to the SR5 model, you have the same beautiful design as this GTS. So the coupe is literally a kind of a bare version of the GTS. Basically, it has rear drum brakes. It doesn't have four-wheel disc brakes. It does come in a manual transmission, but they're more commonly found with an automatic transmission. They came with basically a 1.6 liter dual overhead cam. So it's not twin cam, but it's a slave cam designed for AF and for AFE. Now the 4AF came in the 1988 to 1989, and basically the 4AF was a carbureted 1.6 liter engine that made around like 80 to 90 horsepower, rough estimate. And then the 4AFE came in the 90 and up, and those were fuel injected and had slightly more horsepower, maybe 100-ish horsepower. Now, although I had all these GTS Ae92s, I gotta say the SR5 I really loved. It was my beginner car, and they are very, very reliable. These are reliable, but the SR5s are really reliable, especially that 4AF. I love it because it's a really classic Toyota vibe. You know, that classic carburetor vibe is, oh, I love it. So don't be hating on the SR5s. They're really nice, and the cool thing about the SR5s is you'll always find them, usually find them very clean, a lot more cleaner than the GTSs, because they're always almost rotted out, especially when it's over here in Illinois in the States where they're exposed to a lot of salt. Let's talk about the most important things you need to know when you're owning, regardless of what Ae92 you do have. Now, when it comes to Ae92s, and the first thing you want to do is modify them, be sure to do research, because you want to make sure when you go to different wheels or whatever wheels you're going to run, usually the biggest problem that people run into is the wheel offset in the rear. So basically, you get new wheels, you put them on, and they don't fit because they're hitting the strut of the car, whether you're already on OEM or if you're on coilover setups, they always tend to, you know, hit. So you want to check the offsets and make sure they're basically wide enough so it doesn't hit it, or if they, you know, you run into that issue, you put spacers so you can avoid it. That's what I do with these wheels. When I put these wheels in the rear, I put spacers. Those are pretty wide, so I don't do them. So just always keep that in mind when you're going to get wheels for these cars. Also, when you're getting an Ae92, if you have an Ae92, don't be a doofus. I know you're really loving, you're really psyched that you're getting it or about to get it, but check the rust. They really rot at the rear of these frames. They rot. Especially in the trunk right here, they rot. At the top, they rot. It's really, really bad, especially in the trunk. So be sure that's good. They also rot on the inside of these linings, so be sure to lift that carpeting up in the trunk and make sure it's not rotted all the way through, or else don't even think about getting that. Same goes with the front. Make sure the axle rails, frame rails are good, and you're good to go, because these tend to rot, especially in the GTS under the side skirts. So be sure to do that when you are checking your Ae92 when you're buying it, or check it right now. It might be fucked up. Now let's talk about some cool tips. So some tips on to getting some parts for these is a lot of the mechanical parts can be found on places like Rock Auto, and that's a very reputable place to buy things from. If not, I have a lot of more links to a lot of different sites, especially 44AGE, and a lot of stuff you can find on Amazon and eBay as well. A really cool thing I thought you guys would love to hear is the front suspension is interchangeable with a lot of the newer Corollas. So all the way from 1988 to 2000, they share the same front end components and even some of the rear suspension components. Now, I used a spindle, a wheel hub assembly from a 98 Corolla, and it bolted right up. Everything went perfectly smooth. I even had the brake dust seal. So I highly recommend you guys doing this if you're in pinch, or if you even, you know, find it more available, go ahead with the newer ones. I believe some of the newer Corollas had a different rotor size, which is a cool, really cool upgrade if you want to go that route. But everything else works and bolts up very, very beautifully. So I'm going to end up putting rear suspension on this beautiful Corolla. So really cool tip I thought you guys would love to hear. And so, as I've said before, these Ae92s are really awesome, beautiful cars that you really can't go wrong, whether you daily drive it or it's a freaking Sobo. If you need any advice or have any questions when it comes to the Ae92, be sure to send me a message on Instagram at TuneForSpeed without the 2 E's, or shoot me a comment below. I'll be happy to answer it for you. If you want to see more valuable content on the Ae92, be sure to subscribe. I will catch you guys in the next one. Peace.